Hi.
All right, hi, welcome to our webinar, Recruiting Business Partners, Culture Trumps Strategy Every Time. We're gonna move on to the slideshow now. We're just trying to figure out how to do it. Okay, here we go. And do I just press this button? Well, welcome to our webinar today. I am so excited to talk about this topic. This topic has been something that I have been passionate about since we started building doTERRA in August of 2014. And I'll just start by telling you a little bit about myself. My name's Emily Pfeifer, and I was born and raised on the North Shore of Oahu. And in 2010, my husband was struggling through Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it was an extremely emotionally taxing time for our family. And my dearest friend from my childhood, Kalli Wilson, brought her husband and her mom and her 3 boys at the time to Craig, Colorado, where we were living, and she shared the oils with us. They pampered us for days and took care of us and really helped us see not only the physical support that the oils could bring, but also the emotional side. And I still remember Kalli taking her, taking my hands in hers and saying, "Emily, let's do this together. We can change the world together, and we can create income for our families and, create all of these amazing dreams that we've left in the past." And I have to admit, at that time in my life, I didn't see the vision. I couldn't see what the doTERRA business opportunity had to offer. And it wasn't because Kalli didn't present it well. It just wasn't the right time in my life. I was kind of blinded. My husband and I had just invested, $100,000 or more in our graduate school education. And we were just really set on that path, and we just didn't see the vision. Well, 4 years later, we found ourselves in an even worse financial situation. Our job situation was horrible. We could not make ends meet. We did not have enough money to pay our bills. And the answer always was for me to teach more voice lessons or, add more work to my schedule that was at the same time my kids were home. And it was extremely, extremely stressful on our family. And for the first time in our marriage, we were ready to look for an entrepreneurial opportunity. And so we looked at bakeries, we looked at Pizza Hut, we looked at the Kumon after school tutoring, we looked at all of these different options. And in every case, they required lots of startup money. And we thought to ourselves, wow, we're already in debt. That's what we're trying to get out of. And any business venture is going to take like $100,000 to get into. And we were really stressed out. And it was my husband who said, well, why don't we call the Wilsons and see what they're doing? And just one second. Hey, Casa, would you mind taking that in another room? Sorry, we just had a phone call happening in the other room. Anyway, so my husband said, why don't you call the Wilsons and ask how they're doing? And it was that fateful call. I called Kalli. So this is 4 years later, you guys, after she had presented the business opportunity to me. And I called her and I said, hey, Kalli, how are you doing? And of now we had turned her down. We had turned her down 4 years before. And now when we call and see how she's doing, she's living in Hawaii in a beach house, and they're totally financially free, completely out of debt. Her marriage is better than ever. Her kids are doing better than ever. Her health is better than ever. And she was telling me about all the amazing people that she was working with and all of the humanitarian work that they were doing. And my husband and I had both been Peace Corps volunteers. And so this was all resonating with me at this point in my life very deeply. And I remember tears coming to my eyes, and I felt like my heart was leaping out of my chest, and just like I was longing to step into this culture and into this world that she was in. It wasn't just the money. It wasn't just the financial freedom. It was everything. It was the families they were hanging out with and the ideas. And it occurred to me as I was talking to Kalli, for the past 4 years, I had been, anytime we had spoken, she had, instead of talking about what we had talked about before, which was like all our marital problems and all the laundry we had to do and everything, Kalli was always telling me about the books she was reading and the people she was meeting. And I had noticed a change over those past 4 years in her family. And now in this conversation, it was hitting me, oh my gosh, Kalli came to me with this opportunity 4 years ago. We said no. And now look where her family is and look where our family is. And I wasn't doing it in a comparative way of like making myself feel bad. It was just, I had realized the opportunity that we had missed. And so I asked her, I said, is it too late? Is it too late for us to join you? And she said, are you kidding me? Of course not. And so she got us going on this journey. And she told me at that time that my success making, into the big ranks of doTERRA would be greatly determined on my ability to change my mindset, improve my mindset, and then attract powerful partnerships. And so I determined in that very first conversation that I was going to pay the price, whatever it took. I was going to pay the price to become good at recruiting partners and build a strong team built on business partners, and that culture would duplicate. And that brings me to the name that we chose for this webinar, which is that culture trumps strategy every time. Now, having said that, I'm going to give you a strategy today on exactly how to outline a business conversation. However, I will tell you that it is the culture that you radiate, the culture that they see you creating on your team and embodying and promoting through doTERRA that is going to bring on the visionaries, that is going to bring on the really high quality people. And for example, when we were starting out, I was really worried when I went to my first convention. I was worried that, oh, Kalli's created this beautiful team culture, but then I'm going to go to the doTERRA culture and it's going to be all about, oh, win this Ferrari or win this car, promotion or go on this cruise or whatever. And that really wasn't what I was about. And I can't tell you what it was like. The first convention that I went to, I bawled the entire time. Because instead of it being all about these Ferraris you were going to win and this sort of shark mentality, they showed video after video about all the humanitarian work they were doing in the third world and the service that they were focused on and wanting to bring a healer into every home and just all of the mission-driven things that underlie who doTERRA is. And I just realized that I had come home. My Peace Corps heart that I'd given up 2 years of my life previously to go serve in the Peace Corps, it was like I had found all of my passions in one, helping people develop in leadership, which I had loved doing in the arts for many, many years, and then also the humanitarian piece. And it just came full circle for me. And I thought, I am in the right place. And Kalli told me at that time, she said, Emily, because I had asked her, she told me that my success was going to hinge on being able to recruit partners. I said, who should I be looking for? And she said, Emily, find life coaches, find people who are hungry, who are driven, and who want to go out and help other families rise up, not just their own family, but who want to bring a lot of families with them. And you see here a picture of my sister and my niece who have come to join our doTERRA journey, and many other of the great women that I've ever known or admired in my life. I now look in our organization and we're all here together, and it's just stunning to me. So I'd like to invite you now to take out a piece of paper and pen. We're going to be taking notes, of course, I hope on this webinar, but also we're going to be doing a few little exercises. So before we talk about how to have a fabulous business conversation, let's talk about you for a second. One of the things that is very important as I travel the country coaching various members of our team is how vital it is that each of us develop a very specific purpose. And also with that purpose, after we've crafted that purpose, really do things to raise our personal energy. So a lot of people struggle with this, you guys. We hear it. It's like I don't know how many times we've heard it since we started doTERRA. Find your why, find your why, find your why. And I think after a while, some of us just think, well, I found my why. It's not very good, but I'll just use it for the time being. And there are fabulous webinars out there on how to find a good why. Spencer Pettit just made one recently. If you want to look that up, Spencer Pettit, Find Your Why. It's very good. But honestly, there's just one question that I use a lot with our leaders as I'm coaching them that seems to be able to get to the bottom of it pretty quickly. And it's the question I have listed here. What would you do if your family was taken care of and you were financially free? And for a lot of us, we might have to pause for a second and say, wait, I'm so concerned with just surviving every single day. I don't even know what I would do. I don't even know what I would do with a free day, let alone like a free future. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't even know. But I'd like to invite you right now just to start brainstorming a little bit on your piece of paper. I want you to imagine your dream home has already happened. Your dream car has already happened. Your kids have the opportunities that you'd like for them. Your family is good. Now, what would you do? What would be your legacy? What do you want to be known for at your funeral when you're, when you've died at age 95 and they're talking about what you contributed to your family and to the world? And maybe you're the kind of person that's really family focused, and that's great. What do you want your kids to say about what you stood for? And what you care, what the causes that you cared about, or the things that you want to accomplish in the world. Just jot down while you're sitting here in this webinar a few things that you would like to be known for at the end of your life, and what you would do if money were no issue at all and you could follow your deepest heart's desire, your deepest passion. So write that down. Just write a few things. Okay, so when you allow yourself to dream and journal on this, I would invite you to journal on this a lot right now as you're really searching to find your why. As you're doing this, you are going to get to the bottom of what is your soul and what is your passion that it's very possible that you have left by the wayside. I remember when my husband and I were Peace Corps volunteers, we had so many dreams at that time, ideas for changing the world and bringing hope to some of the most ravaged and poor areas in the world, and we were so excited. And then we came home and we had kids, and slowly our life shifted from wanting to accomplish great things in the world to just making ends meet, just surviving, just paying bills. And I felt the vision and the mission in us dwindling and dwindling to the point that in 2014, I really thought our family might implode. The stress from the finances and my husband's complete misery at his job, like I really felt like our family ship was sinking. And I had lost all of this. And when Kalli asked me in the beginning what my passion is and what I wanted to do, I have to tell you, I had no idea, you guys. It was just, I just want to save my family. I just want to stay alive. I just want to, it wasn't lofty at all. But she helped me, even in all of that darkness and bleakness that I was experiencing. She helped me through her mentoring, through and similar questions. What would I do if my family was taken care of? And she led me back, you guys. She led me back from scarcity and survival to abundance and dreaming again. And it's really exciting. And we'll talk about later what I finally discovered was at the core of who I was and what I wanted to accomplish. Okay, the second thing, after you found your purpose, whatever that is, for me, I found out after I went down into the depths of my soul that I was at my core a humanitarian entrepreneur, that's what I was, that in reality, what I wanted and what I had always wanted was to have financial freedom so that I could be free to follow the passions and the causes that were deep in my heart. And I have to tell you, that came true recently, a couple of years ago when I was doing an exercise saying, if I could end any world something, what would I end? And I thought, what is the most evil thing in the world that I feel strongly about? And I thought, it's children's sex slavery. That is, like, to me, the most evil thing in the world. And if I could get involved in anything, that would be what I would get involved in. And it's just amazing to me. A couple of weeks ago, I get a message from Kalli, who invites us and several other members of her team to get involved with Operation Underground Railroad, which is a team of ex-CIA and ex-Navy SEALs who have formed basically a private army that goes in and rescues kids from slavery. Now, my family and me, including my parents and my siblings, some of my siblings, are getting involved in this movement. So it's just insane that actually happened. Okay, so number 2, embody your message. Okay, some of us need to upgrade our appearance a little bit. I grew up in Hawaii where we didn't wear makeup and we didn't wear shoes, and I totally get that some of us are, all natural kind of people. But I invite you to upgrade your appearance and let your appearance reflect your mission. If you have an epic mission, then when you walk into a room, dress, have your makeup, your hair, your accessories, look like somebody that people should take seriously. And your body language, my invitation to you is to open up your body language. Use large hand gestures. Open up the wingspan of your arms when you're talking. And don't use your hands in downward, harsh motions. Open up your hands to the universe and to this opportunity. This is like a whole series of webinars we could do on body language, you guys. Open up your body language. Stand tall. As a current and former theater and vocal coach, posture is everything. Posture is your presence. Walk into any room with wonderful posture and open hand gestures. And third, your voice. I've watched some of our leaders present lately, and it's been interesting. These are people who have powerful whys and people who are expert teachers, but their energy is just kind of low naturally. And a lot of times we need to actually think of upping our energy, increase the volume, the passion in our voice. And then, of course, also combine that with our appearance and body language to create this very powerful presence. So ask somebody to watch you the next time you're presenting and ask about these 3 things. What could I do to improve my appearance? What could I do to improve the strength of my body language? What could I do to improve the strength of my voice? Okay, so some other tips on how to help your purpose and power shine. These would be your power songs. I listen to these a lot of times before I'm going into a recruiter meeting. Declarations, which we'll talk about in a minute. Vision boarding, positive journaling, dancing, playing powerful music. And you want to keep adding to this list for the rest of your life. Know how to repair yourself. Know how to power yourself up. This is a picture of the Operation Underground Railroad that we talked about. And this kind of sums up this portion of the webinar. Craft your purpose and build up a life force energy to match. All right, so the next piece before you're going into a business conversation is you want to deepen your certainty. Now, some people use the word belief, and I love the word belief, but we use that word so much in doTERRA that I just wanted to use a different word today just to let our mind wrap around it. I will tell you that uncertainty kills any sales situation. I don't care if it's the business, the product, uncertainty kills sales, okay? So for you to improve your ability to recruit partners, you want to deepen your certainty, okay? So if you look at this pyramid here, the base belief or the base certainty that you need to be successful is product belief, okay? Hopefully all of us would rate our product belief as a 10. Next is belief in the opportunity. This doesn't necessarily mean belief in ourselves yet, but belief that the opportunity is viable, that you can make money at this, that it is a real amazing company, right? So that's the next one. Hopefully all of us are at a 10 on that. The area where we usually get into trouble with our belief pyramid is the top one, yourself. Usually you believe, well, yeah, I know the products work and I know that the business opportunity, maybe some people can be successful at it, but I don't know about myself. So in order to find out how you can truly increase that belief in yourself, first you need to know what's stopping you. What is your kryptonite, right? We all know with Superman, he was unstoppable unless he came in contact with kryptonite, right? And then he was powerless. All of us have things in our lives that are like kryptonite. So figuring out what those are is super, super important. Okay, so this is not a webinar on declarations, so I'm going to go over this really, really quickly. You can come back and look at this slide later. But basically, when you figure out what your kryptonite is, you create a page with 3 different columns. The first column, make a list of all the thoughts that are stopping you right now. Number 2, write the direct opposite of those thoughts. And then on column 3, take the boring positive statement that you just created, that was just the opposite, and then add high vibration words to make it epic. Then another piece I'd like to add to this is find a book or webinar to support the resolution of each issue and then dive into that personal development. So for example, if you're finding that you've got a lot of kryptonite stuff coming up about sales or something like that, get a great sales book, get a webinar series, or go online, a free YouTube series from Tiffany Peterson on how to be incredible in sales but not be salesy and not be obnoxious. She is like the most amazing coach I have ever found on how to have a beautiful aura around sharing this product and this opportunity. So in other words, flip your negative thoughts and create powerful vibrational statements, say them every single day with passion, and then find personal development pieces specific to what you're struggling with. Okay, so here's an example. I will never find any leaders. Okay, so column 2 would be, I will find leaders. Okay, that's not very exciting, but it is the opposite. I will find leaders. Now, here's a high vibration statement. I attract talented and influential people right now who are looking for this opportunity. Together, we create a movement that reaches the masses and spans the globe. That's one of my declarations. So you can steal that one if you want. I stole things from everybody in the beginning, you guys. So if you like the humanitarian entrepreneur piece about your purpose, totally take that from me. If you like this declaration, totally take that. In the beginning, I was taking like Natalie Goddard and Kalli stuff all the time. So it's totally fine. If it resonates with you, we're cut from the same cloth. So it makes sense. We think a lot of the same things. Okay, so before you get into your business conversation, you need to figure out who you're looking for. So with fantastic purpose, energy, and certainty, which we've just talked about, so you've built yourself up, right? We are ready to explore the business conversation. There are just 2 prerequisites for the people that we're looking towards, okay? The first one is that they need to have belief in the product, you guys. If they do not have belief in the product, then you're gonna go through this whole spiel, and at the end they'll say, well, this sounds great, but I really need to figure out if the product works, because if I don't know that the product works, I can't stand behind it. And it's like, oh, okay, we just wasted that time, kind of. Not wasted, but it's not the ideal use of the time. So really help them have a powerful experience. Help them get an oil that really connects with something they're struggling with. Help them have that powerful experience. And then second, you guys, make sure that they match your business avatar. If you've created that ideal description of who you want that says, this person is influential, this person is positive, this person is a hard worker, and then you're talking to people who are negative, who don't work hard, and who can't influence anybody because they're so negative, like that, it does not make any sense, okay? Remember, we share the product with everybody, but we're picky about who we share the business opportunity with, because to us, this is a true business, and we're trying to find powerful partnerships. Okay, so we're gonna go over now probably what a lot of you are really looking forward to on this webinar, which is exactly how to go over the business conversation. I felt like I really needed to go over those mindset pieces first, you guys, because again, culture trumps strategy every time. So it doesn't matter if you know all the components of a powerful business conversation. If your energy is not super high because of your purpose and your certainty, all of this is not going to matter, and you're not going to recruit anybody. Okay, so those initial pieces are super important. Okay, so business conversation. An ideal business conversation has 3 parts. The first part are find out questions. This is something that many people neglect, and they wonder, wow, I'm such a powerful presenter. I'm such a good presenter. Why does nobody want to come build with me? It could be because you're skipping like the most important part, which is the find out questions, okay? Then share your message, and then finally resolve concerns, okay? So we're gonna dive into all of these. I have known some incredible presenters who weren't able to recruit people also because they didn't do the resolve concerns section. Maybe they presented the message and then the person said, well, I don't really like network marketing. And then they're like, oh, okay, I guess they don't want to do this. And then they ended it, okay? So all 3 of these are so vital. The find out questions in the beginning where they're talking, then your piece, and then resolving concerns at the end. Okay, find out questions. One of the quotes that I love that I first heard from Tiffany Peterson was, I don't know who actually said it originally, but to paraphrase, the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your bank account. So when I'm sitting down at Starbucks or at a restaurant with somebody who matches my builder avatar, who already has belief in the product, first of all, number 1, I'm going to build some rapport, chit chat questions, ask them how their family's doing, ask them, if they're into gardening, how's your garden this year? If they're into skiing, how's the snow this year? Whatever that is, okay? So just for a couple minutes. Then after that, right while we're eating, I will nonchalantly kind of figure out where they're at. I won't say, okay, now I'm going to ask you some find out questions. I'm just going to very nonchalantly work it into the conversation, figure out where they're at. Are they discontented? Are they happy in their health, in their relationships, in their finances, in their sense of life purpose? Those are the 4 areas I like to kind of tap into. So again, health, relationships, finances, and life purpose. And then question number 2, I'm going to ask them where they want to be. Like where do they want to be in life? And sometimes it takes a little bit of prodding, and sometimes I'll ask that question, like, if somebody waved a magic wand and you had all of your finances taken care of, like, what would you really want to do in life? What would you want to do? And really help them to dream just a little bit. And then after that, ask them, this is very important. You can say, well, what's stopping you from doing that right now? What's the gap? Like, why aren't you going after that dream, or why aren't you living that life? And then inevitably, they will usually say, well, we are just so strapped. We work so much. There's no time. We can't, or, something like that. They'll say something usually to do with that they don't have enough money to do what they want to do. And then the last thing I ask, and this is probably my favorite one, and I word it differently with each person, but basically I'm asking, so how committed do you feel right now about doing something about it? Like if there was something you could do about it, like how ready are you feeling? And this is a really important question. Most times the people that I talk to, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I am so sick of my life. I am ready. I am looking for something. I just want to be done with this. There was this one time, and it was a few months ago, I was helping one of our leaders recruit somebody, and we got to this question, and the person actually said, oh, I'm kind of neutral right now. I really don't care. Hey, would you guys mind muting? I hear somebody moving around. Would you guys all make sure you're muted? Sorry. Anyways, so when you're asking that question, it's super, super important, because this person replied, well, I'm kind of feeling neutral. I'm not really feeling that hungry right now to do anything. I think I'm good where I'm at. And not to be rude, but I really don't want to partner with someone like that. I mean, I love that person as a friend, but that is not somebody. So that was a huge red flag to me. And I looked at the person that, I was working with to recruit this person. And I just thought to myself, yeah, okay, just product user, like, let's not even go. If she's not hungry or driven at all and doesn't want to do anything about her life right now, that's kind of the opposite of the kind of person we're looking for. So really important to figure out. And if you want to, you can even ask them, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hungry do you feel right now to do something about it? So that way you know what you're working with. Okay. All right. So after that happens, you can segue then into your business story. Okay. And a really easy segue is you can say something like, wow, because if this is somebody that matches your avatar, very likely you'll have some similarities. You can say something like, wow, when I started my journey with doTERRA a year and a half ago, I felt very similarly to you. And then you can tell your business story. And your business story usually involves your background and something you didn't like about your background, and then how doTERRA came in and changed that, and then now what your future looks like. So again, that's your background, what you didn't like about your background, how doTERRA has come in to save the day, and then what your future looks like. Okay, and then that segues really, really well into the next piece, where you just open up about doTERRA's mission. And this is where you can pull out your build guide, okay? And you can look over the humanitarian work they're doing. You can look over the corporate facts. As you know, Forbes magazine just came out and rated doTERRA the #2 company in the Western United States and in the top 10 of all companies in the United States. These are incredible things you want to share with people. They'll see in the build guide that we became a $1 billion company in about 7 years, which targets right along what Apple did. And you want to bring out the number piece, but you also want to bring out their mission of humanitarian aid. And you can also bring out anything in the doTERRA mission that is going to connect with who you're talking about. So for example, if the person you're talking about is really into getting out of debt, or is really into like Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, or, into that, you can talk about doTERRA's Free to Give program, that, yeah, the culture of our company is amazing. Instead of being famous for, wanting to have fancy houses and fancy cars like a lot of these other network marketing companies, our CEO, David Sterling, has said that he wants us to be famous for getting out of debt, having families completely out of debt, and changing the world. And so you can share some of these pieces, whatever really you are passionate about with the doTERRA mission and you think would resonate with them, that's what you share right there. And you can go over the build guide briefly, which, again, has the corporate facts, has the mission of the company, and it has the salaries there. I wouldn't go heavy into the salaries, just kind of, let them breeze over and see, yeah, this is huge. You can have limitless income here. Then number 3, connect with how doTERRA fits with your life mission. So for me, I talk about how our mission, and my husband and I share this mission a lot for our family in doTERRA. And we talk about how our mission is to help families learn how to take care of themselves naturally, and that we're helping 100 families become completely financially free so that we can all become humanitarian entrepreneurs. And so when I came into doTERRA, I felt like I had come home, because I have always loved to empower people to do things they never thought possible. I had done that as a voice teacher and a musical director, and I never thought beyond that. And now with doTERRA, I'm helping people do that on such a larger scale, overhauling their whole life and their whole sense of who they are and what their family is going to become, who their children are going to become. And so I really try to connect my life mission for empowering others and serving in the world with doTERRA's mission, that we have the same mission. And then I'll talk about what makes our team culture special. I'll talk about how there's lots of different teams in doTERRA, and that our team is so special because we have a balance of product culture and business culture. We have a focus on leadership. And I'll talk about how when we did research in the beginning, we found that the teams that were super successful were the ones that focused on leadership development. And so we'll talk on our team how there's constant training. Like, as you know, on EO Movement, you guys, it's amazing. We have launch training for people who are just starting. We have silver mastery training for people who have hit elite. Kalli does a leaders circle with small group training for people who have hit silver, who are going for higher ranks. Megan Lloyd has organized all of those programs in addition to this webinar series. She gives out tech support. So whatever you think is going to be cool to them. You want to let them know you do not have to reinvent the wheel. You are going to step into a team with the most beautiful team culture and amazing support that you will be able to plug your people into, because a lot of times cool people are busy. So you want to let them know you are not going to have to create this from scratch. And then after that, talk about how they align with this culture. A lot of times I'll say, and only if it's true, but I'll say, you know, when I was so impressed with Kalli, what she was becoming, and all of her associates in doTERRA. And when I'm around these people, I think about you. You align with this mission. You remind me of these high-powered women. And I just feel like you're supposed to be with us. You're supposed to be part of this tribe, building this movement, empowering families all over the world. And I'll tell them that, how they align. And I'll pick out a couple specific things about them, about why I think they would be so successful. So I'll pick out a strength that they have and say, you know what? You are the most caring person I've ever met. And that is at the core of what makes a great doTERRA leader. Or you are such a wonderful teacher, or you are so great with natural health. You know, you're so legit in your home already going into natural health. You'll be such an amazing example. Whatever it is that they have, I'll really help them see that. And then after that, you guys, this is a super important question that I ask. I'll say, how could doTERRA serve as a stepping stone for where you want to be? And this is where they sell themselves, you guys. This is so important. Instead of me saying, let me tell you how doTERRA could help your health, and let me tell you how doTERRA could help your finances, let me tell you how doTERRA could help your relationships and your life purpose. After I've set the stage, I ask them that question. So how could doTERRA serve as a stepping stone to where you want to be? And sometimes I'll ask some follow-up questions, but then in their own words, you guys, they say it. They put the pieces of the puzzle together and say, oh my gosh, you know, it would help me focus on my health. It would help me increase relationships with other people and also with our family. It would help create better finances. It would help give me a sense of life purpose that I've lost or whatever, you know. Okay, and then you guys, this is the invitation. It is not an invitation. Will you come and build with me? Will you commit to 100 a month? And will you da-da-da? No, this is not the time for that. Remember, we're going from exposure to exposure. The invitation right here is to review a couple of videos and then speak again in a couple of days. That's it. Building a Financial Pipeline with Seth Risenmay and Co-Impact Sourcing with Haiti, or in Haiti. Those are my two favorite videos to send to people. All you want them to do is marinate for a couple of days and think about it. And if they're a spiritual person, maybe pray and meditate about it or whatever. You don't want them to have to make a huge commitment right there. Just a small commitment, and then meet them again in a couple days. Okay, so this goes into the last portion. A lot of people neglect this, you guys, and it's a big mistake, okay? This can be a huge opportunity to clear out concerns, because sometimes people will say, yeah, I want to watch the videos, but they have these deep concerns that you are capable of resolving, but you wouldn't know that they had unless you ask them. Sometimes they'll just say their concerns, but sometimes they won't. So after you make the invitation and they'll say, sure, I'll watch the videos, then you'll say, do you have any questions or concerns? Okay, and then when they mention a question or concern, maybe they won't have one. Maybe they'll say, no, I just want to go home and look at this. But sometimes they will have a concern. And here's the 3-step process to dealing with that concern. You want to listen intently and then ask them follow-up questions. Then you want to empathize with them. And then you want to tell a story of how you overcame that exact concern. So here's an example. Somebody says, sorry, I think somebody came off mute. Would you guys mind staying on mute? Sorry. So here's an example. I hate network marketing. So I can say, all this sounds great, but I hate network marketing, okay? When someone says that, I like smile inside and I'm like, oh, I just love this one, okay? Because honestly, there's just a few concerns that people have and they will come up for the rest of your life doing doTERRA. So you can become a pro at resolving these, okay? So I hate network marketing. So first I'm gonna listen to them and then I'm gonna ask some follow-up questions. I'm gonna say, ooh, there must be a story here. Tell me why you hate network marketing. You wanna hear what their story is, okay? So as I was resolving a concern one time with a lady, she told me, and she's now a builder, she said, well, you know, the last time I was in a company, I didn't even really believe that the product was that great. And I just felt like they were just trying to get us to recruit. And, you know, and it wasn't even about a product. The product wasn't even that great. And it just felt like this scheme. So of course, when she says that, I'm like loving it, right? So at first I empathize and I say, I get it. You know, even with as amazing as Kalli was, like it took me 4 years to really warm up to the idea of doing network marketing. And it took me seeing what doTERRA was for 4 years and having this company vetted and proven over a period of time. And that's where I'm going to tell my story about how doTERRA has reinvented what it means to be in this kind of industry, that you get the benefits of being able to start from scratch, the American dream, and have limitless income without the negative pieces of being pushy. And then we'll talk about how we share oils first, and then if people love them, you know, they want to sign up, and how 85% of doTERRA just love the product, right? And how I love being in this culture, how I never feel pushy with anyone. I just invite people. I invite people to up-level their life. Come and work with me. Come and be in this movement with me. Or come, try this sample for what you're dealing with or what you're dealing with in your health. And then if they like it, I invite them to a class. So I just try to paint that picture of what it really feels like to be in doTERRA, and that they have reinvented what it means to be in this industry. Okay, so again, I listened, I empathized, and then I told my story of how I overcame that concern. Okay, so after this is done, you want to just follow it up with some questions. You'll notice these are the same closing questions I use in my 6 Keys to Close class that some of you may have seen. So if I resolve their network marketing concern, or at least help with it a little bit through telling my story, then I'll say, what other factors are you considering? And I'll see if anything else comes out. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll listen intently and ask some follow-up questions, and then I'll empathize, and then I'll tell a story. And then after I've resolved the next concern, I'll say, is there anything we haven't covered? So I'm trying to get any concerns out, you guys, because if they have concerns, they're going to be blind to what you're saying, okay? So I'll say, is there anything we haven't covered? And then maybe they'll say, no, I think we covered everything. And so then you confirm the invitation again. Would you be open to watching a couple of videos? Is it okay if I call you in a couple days and we can talk about it? And usually they'll say, sure. And then you get out your calendar and you say, when would be a good time? That's super important. You want to schedule a time. All right. And then if they, for whatever reason, like are just saying, well, I'm not really into the business side, then a question that will always help you get out gracefully of any situation, if you're feeling awkward, you can memorize this, is just say, so what do you think is the next best step for you? Just ask them that. And they can say, well, I really need some more time with the product. Great. Then invite them to your next continuing ed class, okay? What is the next step? What is the next best step for you is a really easy way to get out of any awkward ending, okay? All right, so to close up today, you guys, at the end of the day, it is your certainty in the product, in the business opportunity, and in your mission that will recruit powerful business partners. It is important to understand the elements of a good business conversation. That's a skill, right? Understanding find out. Those 4 find out questions, and then understanding the components of your presentation, your piece, and then understanding how to resolve concerns. Those are important. But at the end of the day, it's your certainty, it's your passion, it's your excitement. The same passion and excitement you hear in my voice right now, that is what they are going to respond to. Because maybe they've lost their sense of excitement in life, and they sense that you've found something. So they want to jump on the train. Your ship is sailing with or without them. And they don't want to miss out, okay? All right, so I just wanted to end with one of my favorite paraphrased quotes. I don't even know who shared this idea with me. I came across this idea about a year ago, and so this is a paraphrase, but I love this so much. It says, let the light of your mission and your epic intention shine so clearly and so brightly that those who need to find you will be able to recognize you. And I'll read that again. Let the light of your mission and your epic intention shine so clearly and so brightly that those who need to find you will be able to recognize you. And one of my favorite quotes that I actually have a person here for, this is H.L. Hunt. And this comes back to the beginning of the webinar where Kalli told me that I needed to become good at recruiting business partners. He says, there are only 3 requirements for success. First, decide exactly what it is that you want in life. Second, determine the price that you are going to have to pay to get the things you want. And third, and this is most important, resolve to pay that price. And I'm just going to be real with you guys. To get to the big ranks in doTERRA, recruiting business partners needs to become your wheelhouse. And it is absolutely possible for every single person listening to this webinar to become good at that. You get good at asking find out questions. You get good at presenting your mission, doTERRA's mission, and your team's culture, and why the person you're talking to would be great at this. And then you become good at resolving concerns simply by listening and then sharing how you got over that concern yourself. It's very simple. All right, so now I'm going to give you just a quick little bonus track. That was the end of the actual webinar, but I know that a lot of you have asked me about how to create an evening like this, where it's not a personal conversation, but it's actually an evening where you invite multiple people. And you can watch different webinars that have a more network marketing type of way of doing this, that's more, I don't know, more about like how much money you can earn, and that is a part of this. This evening that Lori Romney and Allison Musser helped us develop is much more inspirational, much more like convention. That's where we took our cue from. And so we had a recruiter evening last month in Denver, and it was very successful. Everyone who came decided to be a builder. We had at least 12 people there. And we have now at least 4 planned for May, and we plan to continue with this. It's so simple, you guys. All you need are build guides, video links to YouTube, and yourselves. That's all. So this is how we started out. We showed 7 videos, and then we shared something. So we'd show a video, and then we'd share a thought. Then we showed a video, then we'd share a thought. So the first video we showed was, so we welcomed everybody, and then we turned straight to the video. It's called Ready for Anything on YouTube. It's from doTERRA Corporate. It has a lot of energy. It's a great introduction to doTERRA. And then you just share your business story. Then after that, you show co-impact sourcing in Haiti and share the mission of the company. Okay, and next you show Kalli Wilson's video. It's at kalliwilson.com, and share the mission of our team. Now, if you have your own video about your own team, great, but we don't have one made yet, so I'm still using Kalli's because her EO movement team represents our team culture as well. So we use Kalli's video, and we talk about the mission of our team and what our team offers. Then after that, we show the 3-minute, not the 30-minute, but the 3-minute buckets and pipelines parable about residual income, and talk about what residual income is. And then after that, we pass out the build guide and go over the salaries and what it takes to get started, just very briefly. And then we showed Jared Winger's video about what it takes to be successful over time. He's a presidential diamond now, and he showed his check when he first started that was like $13, and talked about the perseverance and that it requires and the years and how worth it is. It's such an incredible video. And then at the end, we share again what our why is, what our mission is, what we're trying to accomplish, an invitation to join our movement, and then we end with Beyonce's music video at the United Nations called I Was Here. If you have not seen that, it is so powerful, such an incredible way to end any inspirational evening about this business. It just totally aligns with what we're doing. And we did this, it was so simple, you guys, and it was powerful and effective. So that's my bonus track for you, which is how to create an effective builder recruiter evening that incorporates all of the elements that we talked about, except the find out. You know, that needs to be done on a personal basis. That's the only piece that isn't in the builder recruiter evening, but it has definitely the presentation piece. So it would be afterwards that you'd maybe want to do some find out questions individually with people and resolve some concerns, but this represents the presentation piece. Okay, well, my invitation to you then as we go into questions and answers, is to make a list of 4 people that you would like to share the business opportunity with. 4 people that match your avatar, that are that high quality person that you maybe even feel is better than you. I always say, try to put everyone on your list, people that you think are better than you. And not in a comparative way, but just, you know, that you feel like are above you, that would bring massive value to your team. Make a list, and then if they do not have product belief yet, share oils with them. Make them be the first people that you share oils with. And then out of that list, schedule at least one, because hopefully at least one of those 4 does have product belief. Schedule a builder meeting this week, you guys. The best way to master the business conversation is to do it. So schedule a business conversation this week. You can even have a little piece of paper in front of you, you guys, that has the 4 find out questions and the elements of the presentation, things that you're going to share, and then how to resolve concerns. Okay, and practice on a spouse or a mentor before that if you feel the need to, but you have to be willing to be bad at things before you can be good at them. And so my invitation is just throw yourself in. I threw myself in the beginning. Kalli told me to just go out and start recruiting. So I did the things that she asked me to do. I created my mission. I knew what we were about. And it was the enthusiasm that brought on our front line that are still our front line now a year and a half later. So it's very exciting. So again, the invitation is to make a list of 4 people and make sure that they all are getting oil experiences, and then schedule an appointment with at least one of them this week and do the 3-part builder conversation with them. All right, well, I'd love to open up for questions right now. Feel free to take yourselves off mute and ask any questions that you have.
Yeah, hi, this is Matt Smalley. I had a question about, I missed one of those videos, the one about Jared. I was trying to write real fast, but I didn't get that one. Could you give me that one again?
Yes, so just look up on YouTube, Jared Winger.
Winger, okay.
Winger,
Very
yep.
good, thank you.
And actually, when we post this video on EO Movement, are you on EO Movement, that Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay, when we post this on EO Movement, what I'll do is any links that I refer to in the webinar, I'll go ahead and put those in the body of the post.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions that I can answer?
Okay, well, more than I guess. What if I don't really have 4 people that I personally know, and I have to actually go out and get all these people?
Sure.
I can't really possibly do should I just do a builder meeting with the people that can I do I guess a question, could I just do a one-on-one with them? Because that's usually how I'm getting people right now.
Yeah. So the builder conversation that we went through that has the find out questions and then your personal presentation and the resolve concerns, that's meant for a one-on-one type of situation. The bonus track that we added at the end, that's how you could do a builder recruiting meeting in a group. I don't really know that, I personally don't know that I would do find out questions in a group because that's really personal. But it's a one-on-one, in a one-on-one situation, you would use the 3-phase and then the bonus track would help you do a recruiter meeting. So do you have people in your organization who use the product already who you think would be good business partners?
Well, yes. Well, my upline, all the people in my upline I think are awesome.
Right, but as far as people that you want to partner with to put in your organization, do you have any customers yet that you have personally signed up who you think would be good at building the business?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what you could do is set up one-on-one meetings with anybody that you think matches your builder avatar. Remember the 2 things, they need to have product belief before you talk about the business, and they need to match what you're looking for exactly. So be very clear about what you're looking for. Then you can set up a meeting and just ask them if they'd be open to seeing how they could make an income with doTERRA. And then you can sit down and do this with them. Or if you have a group of them and you think it would be better in a group, you can use the format that I shared at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions that I can answer? Another thing I'm going to add when we post this is I'm going to list 2 other webinars that are fabulous about helping recruit business partners, and I tried not to repeat the information from either of those. One of them is Jessica Moultrie's The Business Opportunity. It goes into detail about how you can really use the build guide well. And then Kyle Kirschbaum also has a fabulous one called The Art of Finding Builders. So this webinar combined with those 2 will give you some really amazing information to make this a strength, to make recruiting partners a strength in your arsenal. Any other questions?
Who was that, Emily, again, that you just said? I know you said Jessica Moultrie, but
Kyle Kirschbaum.
Okay.
Kyle Kirschbaum.
Okay. Thank you, Emily.
And you can find them on, just look up Jessica Moultrie Advocate Wellness or Kyle Kirschbaum Advocate Wellness. That's a YouTube channel, and both of those webinars are on there.
Okay, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Emily, this is Christy Glaze. I just wanted to thank you for doing this. This was great. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
I also, I've created a great team here, and there seems to be builders that are happening quickly here. My block right now currently is people from the course of my life. So I moved a lot as a kid, and so there are tons of people all over the country. Do you feel it's best to I guess my block is just calling them up out of the blue. Hey, it's been 10 years. How you doing? Even though I think they're very powerful women, I would love to work with them. That's just my block currently is how to initiate that reconnection. And then, and I heard what you said about, you know, going through, well, what are you up to, and really listening to where they're at. But you just never want to be that creepy person that immediately goes into it, you know? So
I'm really glad you brought this up, Christy. You know, a lot of times when we're really driven, and I know you're an incredibly driven person, and we want to like get our list and talk to them about the business opportunity and just go for it. What I found, if you are not connected with them, you need to take the time to have a real friendship with them again, and possibly have a couple of conversations before doTERRA ever even comes up. And for those of us that want to just get things done, that's so hard because we see this person would be great and you want to just go for it. But I have found that you do need to take time to reconnect with that person. And so I actually have a list of people that is, and the title of the list just says connect. That's it. And then there is a time when I move them to my next list of sampling. In fact, if you guys want me to show you how I move people from list to list, from exposure to exposure, I can show you that really fast. You guys want to see that?
yes.
Okay, let me grab a piece of paper. All right. My assistant just told me we only have 5 more minutes. Okay, so I take a piece of paper. This helps me so much, Christy. This helps me to not be creepy with people. So if you guys have a piece of paper, why don't we just do this right now? So take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again. So this is horizontally. So at the end, you're going to have 8 columns. You're gonna have 8 columns that look like this. Then at the top of the first column, Christy, you're gonna write connect. Just like that. So you're gonna write connect. Then at the top of the next column, you're gonna write sample. So sample. After that, oh, and I'll put sample and video, because I always send a video anytime I share a sample. And then after that, after sample, you're gonna put invite to a class and remind. So invite and remind to a class. And if you're working with them over the phone, this would be some kind of online class, an online webinar or something like that, okay? After that is enroll. Now, hopefully people enroll at your class, but sometimes they don't enroll and they have to think about it or whatever. So those people go in that column. Anybody who has been to a class already but hasn't enrolled. The next one is wellness consult. Do you know we use the Live Guide to do wellness consults? Just read through it with people. After that, I put host, to host a class. The next one I put build with me. And then the next one is support. Now some people use like Excel online and have these really fancy systems for keeping track of their business. This is how I keep track of my business. In fact, I should get it out of my purse over there. I have one of these just like this that sits in my purse. And every single day when I do my texting blitz, my personal texting blitz, this is how I keep my business moving all the time. I just pull this out and it's prepared for me. I don't have to ask myself, who should I contact today? What should I do today? I sit in my pajamas very often, because people that know me know I don't get dressed sometimes till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I got dressed today for this webinar. So you really can do doTERRA from your pajamas. So anyway, it'll be set there for me and I'll see, oh, look at all the people I need to connect with. And I fill this up. So right now, write down like 2 people that you'd love to connect with, that you're not connected with, that you'd love to build with. Write down 2 people who you've already connected with in your life, who you see a lot, who you could share a sample with. It wouldn't be weird to share a sample with them because you see them all the time and you could say, hey, I'm giving out samples this month. Do you guys have any health concerns? Giving out free samples, whatever you say, okay? And then invite and remind. Think of all the people you've shared samples with who still have not been to a class. They all go in there. Think of all the people who have come to your classes who haven't enrolled. They go all in there. Think of all the people who have enrolled but who haven't had wellness consults and set up LRPs. That goes in there. Then set up a list of all the people who would host classes for you, whether they're in your organization or not. Then the next list, all the people who have product belief already, who match your avatar, who you could build with right now, who you could set up builder consults. So the gentleman who just talked, the people in your downline who match your avatar, who have product belief, obviously, because they signed up, they can go in the build column right away. And then support, those are the key people you're supporting right now. So when I sit every single day, this is what I do. This is one of my secrets to success. I sit down, this is a whole nother webinar, but I sit down with my phone, which has my Facebook messaging and my texting, and I just hack away at this list for 30 minutes to an hour. Hack, hack, hack. And then it seems like my business fills up. Somebody who might be on this call, I don't know, but somebody who I'm working with has been feeling stuck for a really long time. And she just couldn't seem to break out of this thing. And she was filling herself with all this personal development, but for some reason she wasn't in action. She was in fear. And I will just tell you that if you are feeling a lot of fear, it's probably because you're not in action. And then that's just a vicious cycle. Less action breeds more fear, which breeds less action, right? So I promise you guys, if you will do this, fill this out right now after this webinar. Don't do anything else. Sit down and fill out your columns right now and determine that every single day for the rest of your doTERRA life, you're gonna sit in your pajamas with your phone and just move it along. Like, for example, how hard is it to connect with someone if you don't have to talk about doTERRA? How hard is that? It's so easy. How hard is it to ask someone to try a sample if you're already friends with them? It's not hard. How hard it is it to someone who's tried a sample to invite them to a class? That is not hard to text. How hard is it to someone who came to a class who hasn't enrolled to check up with them and say, hey, do you have some samples you want to try? I got the impression maybe you needed more experience with the product, whatever, right? How hard is it to schedule a wellness consult with somebody who signed up? How hard is it to ask someone to host if they get a free diffuser? How hard is it to say, hey, I know you love the products. Do you want to take a look at the business opportunity with me? We're having a blast. How's Starbucks Tuesday at 10, you know? And then how hard is it to text your builders? You guys, I'm serious. People get messed up in thinking that this is complex. Eric Worre said that this texting blitz system that I'm sharing with you, greatest revolution in network marketing in the past decade. Seriously.
That's awesome.
So that's what I would say, Christy, and that's the answer, that you are just the yummy friend to these people, and you will feel when it's appropriate to either ask them for a sample, or if they're already into natural products, to even say, hey, I just can't stop thinking about you. We've been reconnecting. We've been getting back together. I'm with all these amazing women. You remind me of them. I feel like you're supposed to be with us, you know? Okay. So, but it does take patience. But the thing is, Christy, if you're moving through these columns constantly, then it's not really that big of a deal, because all your eggs aren't in one basket. It's not like you're sitting in your business. I have to wait till I talk to this lady this week and then reconnect again next week. If you have this process moving through constantly, these exposures, then there's enough people at each stage to keep your business moving. And then when it's the right time, you can move the people and connect over on our really sophisticated paper. Oh, by the way, I use a pencil and I just erase their names. That's it. Ooh, you got a sample? Erase. I know, I'm so sorry.
But I love this, because this is good for creative people, because we don't always love the computers. So this is with us and we can scratch it and be done.
So right here, pajamas and some snacks and your phone and this little paper, you're gonna watch what happens. Oh, so I was gonna tell you, so my friend who was stuck, so she started doing this. She said she would just do it for 30 minutes every day, and out of it came 2 one-on-ones. Out of doing nada in doTERRA for like 5 months or more, nada, 2 one-on-ones.
Actually, Emily, it's me.
Oh, it's Sunny, you're on. They're on. So Sunny, Sunny, tell them what you did. You did 2 one-on-ones, and what did you sell at both?
I closed with natural solutions kits, both of them.
Woohoo!
Now, in full disclosure, I had shared oils with them. They both had experiences.
No, exactly. But my point is, Sunny, all you were doing was your texting blitzes, and that came out of it, right?
Well, actually, Emily, I last night was my 3rd one-on-one.
Awesome. How did that go?
It went well. They decided on a natural solutions, or sorry, a home essentials kit, and then with a lifelong vitality on LRP.
Awesome. Awesome, Sunny. So maybe you can tell us what this has done for you. Sorry, this is a whole nother webinar, you guys.
Emily, honestly, I think you should do a webinar on this process, because, you know, it seems so simple, right? Well, it wasn't simple to me. I had all these moving pieces in my head, and it was overwhelming, and I didn't know what to do.
Like before this, it was, okay.
Before that one sheet of paper you forced me to write names on.
Yeah, I forced her when we were on the phone. I actually sat on our mentor call, and I'm like, oh, no, we're staying on this call until you fill it out.
Like, fill out 2 names for each quadrant. You are not leaving this phone call.
Anyway, but you can do that with people you're mentoring, you guys. And honestly, even for a lot of us creative personalities, sometimes it's hard for us to see the next step. Like we have this huge vision, but it's hard for us to see that next step. So this can be really helpful for a lot of people. Sorry, Megan Lloyd, if you're watching this went off topic. Okay, so any other questions? It's Christy. It's Christy.
It's my fault. Sorry.
Okay, any other questions, you guys? Anyone? Okay, does everyone feel confident in how the business conversation works? Doesn't it seem easy? Is everybody confident with that? You seriously can have that paper in front of you with those questions, and you know what I'm saying? With the questions and with the presentation outline. And a lot of times you can just talk off the top of your head about those things. You know, you don't need to make it all formal, you know? Okay, any other questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Kristen, hello. All these people I love are coming on.
Hey, I just have a quick question about, it's kind of what Christy was saying, but when I connect with someone and I'm ready to have a conversation, is it weird to have it over the phone? Because that's where I'm going to have some of mine.
Yeah,
and then,
I recruited almost everybody over the phone.
Okay, and so when I start that conversation, do I kind of invite them first? Once I reconnect and they have a sample or whatever, do I say, hey, can we schedule a time where we can maybe chat about, or do you just
necessarily? That's such a good question, Kristen, not necessarily. So what I've done a lot, sometimes I have arranged a time, but a lot of times if it's a friend over the phone, after we've reconnected and established our friendship, and obviously this is a person our relationship is not based on doTERRA. We're friends no matter what, and they know that, right? But a lot of times they're looking for something. A lot of times people, and I believe it's not a coincidence. I believe people are drawn to us because they're supposed to be working with us, and we're supposed to like change the world as a movement of amazing people. I'm serious. So anyway, so I know that in the back of my head. So when when we're on the conversation, I will work those find out questions in, Kristen, kind of just super nonchalant. I'll just kind of figure out where they're at, figure out where they want to be, figure out what's stopping them and stuff. And I'll be like, and then after you've connected with them sufficiently, it's not weird when you can say, oh my gosh, this is like exactly how I was feeling. And then you kind of can launch into that a little bit and just share with them and just say, hey, you know, would you ever be open to watching a couple of videos? Because everything that you're saying is aligning with all the people that I'm working with. And I think that we would have a blast working together.
Awesome.
So,
do you want to be in my ear when I'm on the phone with them?
I don't think I need to be, but I want to be at your house when I'm coming to work with you next month. We're gonna have so much fun. So at the end of this webinar, Kristen, did you see the tracks or the extra track about how to do the inspirational evening? That's what we're going to do at your house.
Yay.
Awesome. Okay. Any other questions?
You're amazing. Thank you.
Okay, you're amazing, Kristen. Any other questions?
I have one question real quick. Are you going to be posting these, Emily, on the EO movement with underneath?
This is going to go on EO movement. And I'm also going to, again, post any links that I referred to. So if I talked about any videos or anything like that, I will have them on there.
And you'll do this 8-page thing? Because I didn't get all of them down.
Which one?
8 columns of things, you know, the connect and that.
Well, I can take a picture of it.
Yes, take a picture. Just put the words down on the top.
Megan Lloyd's going to get me in trouble and say that I've gone rogue.
No, she's going to say you need to do a video on this.
You guys, I'm telling you, it's one of those missing pieces that sometimes can bridge your brilliance to your results. Sometimes there's just like, I feel like in doTERRA or in life, we're like a puzzle, and we have certain pieces already there that are really, really strong, and then certain pieces that aren't there. And sometimes when we get a piece locked in, our business will just take off. Like for Sunny, as she was mentioning, Sunny's obviously already good at teaching and selling kits already. And, you know, it just was being able to have her schedule organized with this, and all of a sudden she's just taking off, right? So as long as you just keep showing up to training, eventually you're going to find that missing piece. And that's what people that give up, they miss out on that. They miss out on the chance to grow. And if you think about it, you guys, we are trying to take ourselves from basically being, you know, semi-depressed housewives to these incredible CEOs that are making massive amounts of money. I mean, we're going to have to change. We're going to have to grow. We're going to have to seek out things to fill in the pieces of who we are. And doTERRA can be an empty journey where we're just thinking money, 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 or it can be the journey of a lifetime where you fashion the character that you have always dreamed of having and the skills that you've always dreamed of having. And I always say this, for you moms out there, I know for a fact who your children are going to become is going to be different because of this, because of what you're becoming. It's going to change their professions. It could change who they marry and the whole life they live because of how you are up leveling. So when you have a problem, don't ever think of quitting. Don't ever think about, just think about, ooh, I'm Sherlock Holmes. How am I going to solve this problem? How am I going to get the help to fill in whatever is missing in me? If you keep that attitude, nothing will stop you. And even if you only rank advanced one rank a year, just one rank a year, how long would it take you to be presidential diamond? Just one rank a year. Like 10 years, 9 years, right? Is there any other profession? Find any profession for me that you could be making 6 digits a month, not a year, a month in 10 years, right? So let's hang in there, keep showing up to all these trainings and you'll get there. Okay?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, love you guys. Bye. I don't know how to stop this thing. I don't know how to stop. Casa, my assistant. Okay. Oh.